Welcome to the Whole Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you become a fat burner, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey everybody, it's Debbie Potts, and I'm doing a new episode of The Whole Athlete, The Whole Triathlete, where we're always trying to look at different ways we can improve performance in not only sport, but daily life. And what I'm trying to do more this past year is do more episodes on nutritional therapy, as I became a nutritional therapy practitioner last year. Just created more awareness to me that there's so much more out there that we can do to really optimize our health. And in order to share some new information, I invited Kyle on the show today, who has some new information for us to dive into. So Kyle, thank you for coming on, and let's just get started with, what's your passion and purpose, and what do you do and why?
So I work for a company called The Dirt, and we make the world's only full line of all natural, paleo certified oral care products, meaning they're completely toxin free and made from natural earth-based ingredients that give your teeth and gums the help they need to repair themselves and to be healthy. Why I do this? Interesting thing, working in oral care doesn't sound like something that is, at first blush really exciting, but The way we look at it is this: me and my team, what we care about most is living healthy lifestyles and helping others do the same. We've all been paleo since the very beginning, some of us even before that, very active in our yoga practices and other spiritual mindful practices. And we thought to ourselves, well, how can we affect and reach as many people as possible and create healthier, more sustainable lives in a way that is scalable and will be a good business too? You want to have all those pieces together. And looking at what was out there in the market, well, there wasn't really much going on in the oral care space. And everyone brushes their teeth, hopefully at least twice a day, but it's something everyone does to some extent. And there weren't amazing options out there for doing it right. So we thought this is an absolutely excellent opportunity to reach millions of people, hopefully, and get them to improve their baseline health level with a really amazing product. And in doing that, the essence of what The Dirt does is trying to transform this rote chore. Most people approach their oral care as a chore into something that's exciting, like a self-care ritual. Self-love is something that we all can do more to deepen our practices in. And if we can create oral care products that transform that practice into something that's exciting, beautiful, and effective all at once, well, why not give it a shot?
Yeah, well, no, I do think you have to make brushing your teeth an enjoyable experience, because we need to do it and should do it, like you said, twice a day or more. But to, really get the most out of it and do something that you think, I don't need to do, or maybe people don't want to do, it's like flossing your teeth, it's just creating that habit. I know I've been into doing facial masks and got my husband doing it with me every Sunday. Now we do a type of clay mask. So it just gets to be, that self-care and something you do with each other that's fun to just put dirt on your face. So let's talk about what your product is and what is the difference of. I was just training my clients saying I was going to go to podcast with you, and they use Colgate and Crest. So why is Crest not good for us, and what does your product do better for us, and the benefits of the ingredients?
Well, first and foremost, the problems that are being mounted with, evidence and research into the ingredients in most standard oral care products, like their Crests and Colgates out there, is that they're just full of toxins and poisons. And so, for example, fluoride. We're not anti-fluoride. Fluoride does a great job at whitening your teeth and cleaning them. However, it doesn't seem like it's necessary to do it every day, especially when most people have fluoride in their water already. So we're not opposed to seeing your dentist once or twice a year and getting a deep cleaning with fluoride. There's no harm in that. But every day, evidence keeps mounting that it could be, deleterious to your not only oral health, but also your mental health. There's a lot of correlation there. Another good example is glycerin. So glycerin is used for a couple of reasons in most toothpastes. It's a bulking agent. It adds body. It's why you have to put so much on there and use so much. It's also a sugar. But the thing about glycerin that recent research has shown is that it leaves a coating on your teeth. And one might wonder, oh, why is that a problem? Well, it's similar to using lip balm. If you use lip balm all the time, what happens? Your lips stop producing their own natural moisture and they become dependent on it. So what happens with your teeth is that your teeth have a natural protective coating. It's their enamel. And some recent research has shown that brushing often with a paste that has glycerin in it, coating your teeth, once or twice a day, your teeth stop producing their own strong enamel. It starts relying upon this outside source. Like, your body is very intelligent. It only uses its resources when and where needed. So if it's finding one of its needs being met by an external source, it doesn't think twice about it. It's like, okay, that's being taken care of. Let me redirect my resources to something else in the body that needs it.
It's like what we always talk about for hormone balance. All these people taking supplements for hormones, the same thing. Anything, you start taking melatonin every night, there's the same thing, that reverse feedback, and the body finds its own homeostasis. Yeah. But if you give it alternative method or means of getting it into your body, it will be like, oh, I don't need to do this anymore, and take a little vacation off that job.
So melatonin here and there is good. If you're getting over jet lag, you need to go to sleep, great, but don't become dependent on it. You got to cycle things. And not to say that it's worth cycling, glycerin or triclosan or plastic microbeads, which are now occurring in toothpaste. Don't do that at all. But anything that's supplementary in nature, you got to look at the cycling aspect of it.
Yeah. So, a lot of people were talking about bentonite clay, and, there's activated charcoal. So what does bentonite clay do? And let's go into next, that versus activated charcoal, because they seem to be in a lot of products out there. And I met you at Expo West, or Natural Food or Product Show last February, that it's like everywhere you see bentonite clay, activated charcoals and everything. So talk a little bit what you know about that and why you choose what you do.
Yeah. So before bentonite clay became a popular ingredient in oral care products, most people had seen it as a straight up supplement that you consume for its detoxifying effects as it passes through your gut, and also as a facial mask, like you mentioned, for the same reasons that it's a purifier. So why put it in an oral care product? Well, first and foremost, it's a nice replacement for the abrasive ingredients in traditional paste. So traditional paste will use minerals, mostly synthetic, like silica, for example, and it does a great job of scrubbing your teeth, almost too good. So there's this thing called the Mohs hardness scale, and it goes from 0 to 10. 10 is a diamond, and your teeth enamel fall somewhere between 4 and 5 if it's healthy. Most people's teeth enamel aren't very healthy, and it's usually more between 3 and 4. Silica is up there at the 3 and 4 range, whereas bentonite clay is more like a 1.5 to 2. So you run the risk of actually scratching and damaging your enamel unless it's in tip-top shape. And let's be honest, most people's enamel isn't in tip-top shape. Yeah. So bentonite clay and activated charcoal are natural, mild abrasives that will gently and naturally scrub your teeth and whiten them, polish them, and not cause any risk of scratching. Bentonite clay, getting more into its detoxifying and antibacterial properties, just get a little background on it. It's essentially a volcanic ash, and it has somewhat unique properties that make it more or less like this good little vacuum cleaner for your mouth. So when bentonite clay gets wet, it expands, and its electrical charge changes to a negative charge. So it becomes like a sponge in a sense, and that can absorb huge amounts of toxins and heavy metals that might be lingering in your teeth and gums. And I think it's really useful and effective right now, particularly because the vast majority of us haven't been using natural oral care products our entire lives. People like you and I, at least I can speak for myself, even though I'm incredibly health conscious and minded, diet-wise, activity-wise, lifestyle-wise, I used Crest and Colgate for years as a kid. I didn't have the best diet. I turned paleo about 9 years ago. And that means I had a good 25 or so years not eating the best food. So there's a lot of cumulative damage and deposits in your teeth and gums, which can be helped to be reversed using a bentonite clay product. So at the same time, while this special like mud does all this cleaning and like sopping up these toxins as a sponge, it also gives you something. So in this clay, there are healthy, strengthening, replenishing minerals like calcium and magnesium. So not only does it take stuff out, it puts good things in. And on top of that, it's also a little alkalizing, which is beneficial for teeth and gums, especially when a lot of foods that we've been eating and still eat, mostly because of soil quality and other like fundamental factors which are hard to control, they increase acidity in our mouths. And that can be a problem for maintaining healthy, strong teeth and gums.
Definitely. What about if people have mercury fillings? Is that, they're having mercury and other metal toxins from their environment? How is that to use the bentonite clay, brushing your teeth with that versus just regular toothpaste? Have you found anything about that? That's because I know so many people haven't gotten their fillings switched out and the mercury removed.
Yeah, that's a good point. So like I said, it does help remove heavy metals and toxins, and a lot of like mercury filling, that's a heavy metal. I would like to say that like it's doing some work on that and might be breaking down those fillings over time. I'm not sure how long it would take to like actually remove that much, because fillings, there's a lot of heavy metal. Yeah. And hopefully anybody who's on the natural oral care lifestyle tip is working to remove the heavy metal fillings, because over time those continue cumulative damage as they degrade, because they break down naturally on their own. As they're breaking down, they're releasing the heavy metals like into your system. Mm-hmm. So the bentonite clay might help move that forward and absorb that rather than it being broken down and released into your body. So I would say with that understanding, it's saving you some suffering from it breaking down and being absorbed back into your body. It'll be absorbing it.
Yeah. So when you brush your teeth with bentonite clay or toothpaste, you're pulling things out and then spitting it out. You're not swallowing, hopefully. People are hopefully spitting out and getting rid of the stuff you're pulling out. And then I'm sure with the bacteria in our teeth and how we have this whole, microbiome in your mouth almost, that you're having all this bacteria in there. You're brushing your teeth with the bentonite clay toothpaste as yours will help pull out the bad bacteria.
Yeah, definitely.
So flossing first would probably help remove stuff, and then and then brushing your teeth and get things moving out.
Yeah, if you want to get the benefits of consuming bentonite clay, just get some clay itself or some capsules and swallow a few, but don't swallow the toothpaste.
Yeah.
It's safe. It's one of the great things about it. It's completely safe. If kids want to use it, there's no chemicals whatsoever, and kids will swallow most what you put in their mouths. So I would say that's why it's a great paste for kids to start on too. But as a regular thing, don't want to be swallowing it, especially after a nice vigorous brushing session.
So a couple things I was thinking of is the word you say, cumulative damage. Now that's what I talk about, for 5 years on this show, my podcast, my personal history with adrenal exhaustion and recovery, repair from that. I wrote about my book, Life's Not a Race. And as nutritional therapists now, we always look at the different stressors in your body. And I always explain they're external and internal. And it's that beaker of stress that comes through our brain to interpret that. But it is what you're just saying. It's the cumulative stressors that are creating damage on the inside. So that includes cumulative damage as oral care, health that you have to start with. And when we're working on health as nutritional therapists, we're working out as the most northern point. So that includes what's going on in your mouth as well as your brain. So I think that's a good place to start, is working on your cumulative stressors before you're creating damage. Stuff we don't even think about is how do you take care of your body with oral care and your teeth. And there must be a lot of health benefits as well for not just saving your teeth, but
that's where it starts. There are a lot of like naturopathic doctors, and even not naturopaths, just more progressive and mindful, conscious doctors that understand that what's going on in your body, like if you have problems in some of your organs, like it's signified in many ways, like in your oral health and vice versa. So your gums, the roots and all of your veins, like it's all connected. So if your gums start falling apart, you're not taking care of them, and they get diseased, that goes into the rest of your body. It's like all connected. So people who have serious gum disease or gingivitis, or end up having like root canals, which is something you should avoid at all costs. Very, separate topic we can tangent on, but that is going to severely affect your overall health. So if you take care of your teeth and gums, many other parts of your body, which are connected, like intrinsically linked, are going to be healthier as well.
Well, yeah, if you swallow any saliva, which is all the time, that's going into your system and entering into your digestive system. So it's something to think about. And pharmaceutical drugs, I think, too, if you're taking medications and whatnot, it'd be interesting research to look at, how does oral care improve the damage that you're putting on all these pharmaceutical foreign ingredients in your body? Because every time I see a commercial for pharmaceutical drug, it says like one benefit, and then it goes on for 2 minutes saying all the consequences that you're going to get from taking this medication. You're going to have all these side effects. So I think there must be something we'll come out with, if not already, on how your oral care starting up Northern Point, for your pharmaceutical drugs, brushing your teeth.
Absolutely. In fact, that's the point I like to make most about any natural oral care product, is the biggest benefit isn't so much what's in it, it's what's not in it. So since there's no chemicals and nothing in there that's going to impede your body's natural ability to strengthen and repair its teeth and gums, like your saliva has nutrients in it that's designed to, like, oh, hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Just opening up your webpage. We'll go into that. Go on.
Got it. So your saliva is designed to help repair your teeth and gums. And a lot of chemicals and standard oral care products get in the way of that happening. It kind of just doesn't allow those minerals and nutrients to do their job, because it's in an environment that's unfamiliar. There's all these like other 8 things in there that are either breaking them down and destroying them, or just getting in the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet. I mean, I just going into nutritional therapy, one of the things where I was looking at again is, mineral balance. And part of your products are the trace mineral toothbrushing powder and coconut oil. And we talk a lot about, with my clients, with coconut pulling, and talk a little bit about minerals, why, we need minerals for your oral care, and then dive into the benefit of coconut oil.
So when you say minerals for oral care, are you asking about
this product I have on here. So if you guys are watching our video version, their website, givemethedirt.com, you can see that the different tooth powders. So there's trace mineral toothbrushing powder that's on here, and all these different products. So what is the benefit of having brushing our teeth with some trace minerals?
Yeah. So by trace mineral, what we refer to first and foremost is a bentonite clay, which we covered. And another special ingredient that we have, which kind of like sets us apart from other powders, is myrrh. Now, myrrh is this really magical plant. We have a myrrh resin. It's in our powder, and essentially myrrh is a sap that's been used to make medicine since the beginning of time. Like, it was also currency before paper money. It's even mentioned about like 150 times in the Bible. Like, really, really well known. Overall, it's used to help with inflammation and killing bacteria. So most of its applications are around that. So for oral care, it's historically been used like in applying directly to the mouth for soreness and swelling, inflamed gums, loose teeth, canker sores, bad breath. And because of its antibacterial properties, it's been used a lot for gingivitis related problems. So it helps break down plaque. And if you just even like Google it, there's like myriads of studies out there that show how myrrh helps to fight all forms of oral disease naturally. It's mostly because it's a super powerful anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that. And then, so we already talked about bentonite clay. What about cinnamon's in here? So what's the benefit of cinnamon? Cinnamon
is naturally anti-inflammatory. And cinnamon and nutmeg are both kind of like mild abrasives. So if you join that with the bentonite clay, that helps scrub and polish your teeth naturally. And on top of that, they also provide natural flavor. There's no sweetener in our powders whatsoever.
Okay. And then nutmeg, you mentioned a little bit, and that's sweet orange carmidin. So
orange is
nutmeg.
naturally antiseptic and also provides nice little flavor.
And orange, I love sweet orange essential oils lately, put them in my diffuser. But so sweet orange, good anti-inflammatory, antiseptic. And then we've got the last ingredient on here that I'm looking at is the carmidin. So these are all different. So these are in the products, and you found this with digestive tonic, it soothes sore throat. So that's good to have in your toothpaste and brushing oral care, as you're saying. So let's go into coconut oil. It's always a big topic, and it's always in the news for not to eat, but what about for oral care?
So at its core, coconut oil is naturally antibacterial, and used in our paste, it helps create a nice paste form when combined with beeswax. And in our oil pull, it's combined with some other oils that are regularly used for oil pulling. It helps with the oil pulling of, well, what happens when you swish around fats in your mouth? It kind of like collects bacteria and heavy metal deposits that are in your teeth and gums, like remove them. That's why you spit it out when you're done, and not into like the toilet or the sink, because it'll clog into the trash. And that's why I have to do it for a while, like 15 or 20 minutes. It takes time to really pull it out. So those are the uses of coconut oil in 3 of our different products. I can go into either in more detail if you'd like.
Well, can you just review? You just talked a little bit oil pulling. So if you can explain in a little more detail how people do that if they're not familiar with it.
Yeah. Oil pulling, I would say overall, is one of the most powerful oral care practices someone can include in their daily regimen. On top of that, it also can help your overall wellness. So just kind of so the main benefit is that it reduces the amount of harmful bacteria in the mouth. There are hundreds of bacteria in your mouth, but some of them aren't good. And those are what creates plaque. So particularly, what's the one? Streptococcus mutans is the one that does most of the damage when creating plaque. So the way that this works, it's simple. You kind of swish it in your mouth for like 15 to 20 minutes, and essentially the bacteria gets dissolved with the fats. So healthy fats, what they do is they dissolve the bacteria and they kind of pull it away. It's just how the chemical reaction works. Coconut oil has been the most popular choice over time because it is the most palatable. Sesame oil is also used in different cultures. So is ghee. We use a blend of sesame and coconut in ours. And this is why I really love our product. So oil pulling is something that people like us, we get it. We know it's good and we'll do it. We don't care if it tastes bad, because we know it's worth it. But it's something that is so powerful and useful in an overall self-care regimen that we want to get out to as many people as possible. And the larger market out there who's curious now, they've heard of oil pulling. A lot of them have tried it, but they won't continue doing it because it's not exciting. It's not delicious. So what we did is we made a product that's an oil pull in a mouthwash. And it becomes a mouthwash too because of the host of essential oils we put in there. So those oils that we add give it a great flavor. And since they're all naturally antibacterial, antimicrobial, they also act as a mouthwash. Now, in this product, we do have a little bit of a sweetener. We have a special stevia that's not extracted with chemicals, so it lacks that traditional bitter aftertaste. So it's just a little sweet, which is helping a lot of people get into this amazing practice.
Yeah, I think, how long do you have to do it though? Like 20 minutes or?
So
here it says right here.
20 minutes. Honestly, I think it depends on a few factors. So if you've been doing it for a long time, you've gone through your initial trial with it and you did it a couple times a week, you have a good homeostasis in your mouth, you probably don't need to do it as long and as frequent. The rule of thumb is you want to keep going and you swish vigorously. That's one thing you want to do. You just have to swish vigorously, be active with it. When it gets to the point where it's feeling heavy and frothy and more viscous, you've introduced you've soaked up a lot of bacteria and like heavy metals if they're in your mouth. So like you're kind of at that point of diminishing returns, so to speak. So I like to say go a few minutes after that to be safe and then spit. Because you'll notice that over time, it'll take less time to get to that point as there's less to remove. And you just become more healthy overall.
That's interesting. Now, how can you measure those people that like to know, prove me how this works? Is there some tests that people can do, or is more just through the dentist to see, okay, I've done oil pulling for so long, brushed my teeth this way. Do you see the results when you see your dentist, and how do you know if it's effective or not?
Well, if you want to do a test like that, first thing you'll do is control your variables. So you would have to like only add oil pulling into your regimen and nothing else, like, one thing at a time. And yes, it's the dentists that will notice. I've been using our products exclusively for like 3 years now. And dentists are always amazed at how clean my teeth are. Now also diet is part of it, and the paleo diet really helps with that. So it goes hand in hand really nicely. But I'm constantly, and everyone else on my team is constantly being told that like, wow, you have such like low amounts of plaque and your teeth are white and your gums are healthy. They're not inflamed. Like inflammation is the biggest problem overall, especially in your mouth. So yeah, I have a really good feeling, high confidence that people who start using our product regularly, the next time they see their dentist, they'll get some interesting remarks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think that's the best way, because I know a lot of clients go, okay, I need research, I need data, I need to see proof. And instead of just like, oh, I just feel better. And, they want to know what they're trying, if it's working. So there's always people out there.
Like 4 to 8 weeks, a lot of people notice naturally more whiter teeth. And in fact, if you have some people just go on our website, if you want to scroll through reviews, you'll see people saying that. It's like, wow, this stuff is working. I'm seeing whiter teeth.
Okay, so one more question here, and then we'll kind of go over what we missed out. But a copper tongue scraper, talk about, I've heard about doing this and the benefit and the why, and how maybe it relates to the vagal tone. I know we can scrape and gargle helps vagal tone, but talk about what your thoughts are on a tongue scraper that doesn't make you not throw up.
It's a curious thing. So much like a lot of our inspiration, this comes from ancient Ayurvedic practice. Copper tongue scrapers have been used with tooth powder hand in hand, thousands of years in India. And the first question that we always get is why? Well, first and foremost, it is the best way to fight bad breath. You can brush every day, 3 times a day, with a natural oral care product like ours, and you might still get bad breath, because bad breath is mostly the result of certain bacteria that form on your tongue while you sleep. And that's why some toothbrushes come with the ridges in the back of the head. That's kind of like a scraper replacement. It's not as useful, but that's what it's for, because they know that that's a separate practice. So if you take a few scrapes in the morning, that should take care of any bad breath you've got. And throughout the day, we've got our breath spray too, if you don't want to bust out the scraper, every couple of hours. Depends how bad your breath is. So why copper? That's the next question. Why copper? Most scrapers out there, first let's talk about those. Plastic. No one wants to add more plastic to, the junkyards. It's just no good. And you don't want to have that stuff in your mouth anyway. Plastic will degrade. You don't want the degrading in your mouth. Stainless steel, definitely a good option. Stainless steel will need to be replaced at some point because it will tarnish, whereas copper is naturally antibacterial. That's why it's used often in plumbing. And old wooden ships use copper to help reduce the issue of mold and bacteria forming from water contact. And copper will never tarnish. Well, it does naturally oxidize, but that doesn't mean you can't use it. It'll get little green spots. That's just kind of like an aging process. But you don't need to replace it unless you lose it. So it's a really great accessory addition to any oral care practice. We all get bacteria that form on our tongue overnight, and this is the best way to remove that and have really good breath.
Do you get used to doing it and not feel like your gag reflex doesn't happen when you're doing that?
Gag reflex with it, if you kind of like stick your tongue out as much as you can, and then put the scraper in there, kind of meet it halfway. You're pretty good.
Yeah, I think you have to get used to it. But that's definitely something good to do. I think, all of this, how it relates to an athlete is that we're always just looking for different ways to really be healthy. And I think so many people do endurance events, racing, triathlons, and they think they're healthy because they're exercising and being able to do an Ironman, but really on the inside, are you healthy? And what is the definition of healthy? We need to redefine that. And I think taking care of what I say, the whole you from the inside out, is really the holistic method that I talk about. The holistic athlete is that we talk about oral care to really be healthy from the inside out. So that includes with how you're brushing your teeth, what products you're using, and we'll talk to Laura Alder later this year about the ingredients in your household and how the products we use, including oral care, make a big difference to your health. And she talked about weight gain, that, your toxins are stored in your fat cells. So if you're holding on to this bad toxins in your body, you wonder why you're slowing down and gaining weight and being more fatigued. Well, you got to look at what we're using in our household and our face products and our toothpaste and all that. So anything else I didn't bring up that you want to share, or
what else?
List?
Well, we do have an awesome new product that came out. It's our bamboo toothbrush. So while we don't use activated charcoal in our tooth powder, we do have it in our brush. So it is in the bristles. So you get the benefits of the activated charcoal on top of the bentonite clay if you're using our tooth powder without the mess. It's also made of incredibly eco-friendly materials. So the Moso bamboo that we use grows 3 times faster than others, and ours is not wild harvested, so it's not a food source for any primates. Mm-hmm. And our bristles are perhaps, they're definitely the most eco-friendly plastic out there. So it's nylon 4. It will biodegrade under normal municipal waste practices and even in seawater. So most plastics can take like up to 1,000 years to break down. So this is really solving a big problem out there. There aren't many natural, eco-friendly options for the tool you're going to use to brush your teeth and gums with an all-natural product. So now we've got like the full gamut. We're really proud of this product. Like, we've got it dialed in so it fits nicely in your hand. Like, feels good. We've got a little logo on there. It's a great to go with any of the products that we've got. And you can feel good about it.
It's out of stock. It's so popular, you don't have any in. That's funny. Well, thank you for coming on the show and sharing this different information that I think we all need to look at to really be healthy from the inside out. If, as I said, the holistic athlete, we're working on training, exercising, and eating healthy, but there's so much more going on to be healthy. So thanks for showing us your products and explaining what is what and where can we order them. That's called givemethedirt.com. And where else can anyone get more information? Social media?
Yeah, we got our Facebook page, Dirt Personal Care, Twitter, at Give Me the Dirt. And we're always posting fun little things out there talking about our latest giveaways and our products. And of course, you can sign up for our newsletter on our website to get all the best deals that are coming around. Holiday season's coming up. These make great stocking stuffers.
Yeah, I love this kind of stocking stuffers. And, I just like trying different things, and you realize what stuff we always were raised on and how it's not so effective. And I think a lot of people are afraid that it's not effective. The clients I just were talking to, like, how do you get as clean as, without Colgate using that? The other ones aren't as effective. And same with like doing their laundry. Tide works so much better, they say, than having all these natural products. But I think you have to just try it out and learn for yourself that they are effective, and natural doesn't mean ineffective. Even my dentist said there's no research on bentonite clay and charcoal that works. So I think you need to do your own research and decide for yourself.
Well, there's a good deal of research out there on bentonite clay, and that's one of the reasons why we go with that too, because while activated charcoal is popular and purportedly has similar benefits, there is very little research on activated charcoal as an oral care product.
So show your dentist this and this toothpaste. Try this instead.
Yeah, brush your teeth for a few months and then go see him, and you'll see the feedback.
Yeah, I have to go see my dentist next week, so maybe I'll mention this. Say, okay, look at this. All right. Well, thank you so much. And you guys, if you have any more questions, go to our Facebook page, The Whole Athlete Podcast, and check us out on Instagram is where you'll find me more often. It's great, easy information to share out there. So follow us, The Whole Athlete Podcast, or Holistic Athlete is my tag on Instagram. So we'll see you. Are you going to Expo West next year or next March?
Oh, yeah. We'll be at Expo West every year.
All right. I know. I'm already getting their emails. It's like, March, it's only September. So we'll be there. All right. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks for listening to the Whole Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook or at wholeathletepodcast.com. You can help us continue and grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and see you next time.